Welcome back, everybody. Driver53 here with another short video of precision farming for Farming Simulator 19. And today what we're going to be doing is looking at grass and what the different levels of nitrogen does to the yield. Can we get can we go way under and still be okay and have the same yield, or do we get a penalty if we go way over? So let's go ahead and take a look at the map here. So these are the different soil types that we have. We have loam, sandy loam, silty clay, and loamy sand. And this is the same type of test that we've run with everything else here recently on this plot. And if you want a lot more of the details, go check out the wheat video. I'm going to link it up here above. But the rest of this I'm going to go through pretty quickly. The next is going to be pH. You can see everything is as it should be, except for the lake. We should be able to go around that no problem. Next is nitrogen. We've got from 20 all the way to 200 up here at the top. And we have a strip here of 0. So we're all good there. Let me go ahead and show you here. These are the different strips that we have. So we have one in each one, and they are at full maturity. So if I come across over here, they are good to go. So just wanted to show you guys that information really quickly for here on this. Now let me take you back over to this really quick. The target nitrogen level for loam is 200 points. For sandy loam, it's 180. For silty clay, it's back up to 200. And then for grass, it's back down to 160. So we shouldn't over fertilize anything at all. If anything, I'm expecting to see a little bit of under fertilization and a little bit of reduction there. So next thing to do is go ahead and get this cut, and then we'll take a look at the maps. So we got everything mowed, everybody, and let's go ahead and jump over to the maps. I've got something interesting to show you here in just a second. So once again, here are the soil types, and we're going to be looking at loam first once we get over there, but let's jump to the pH. You can see that it did what it was supposed to do. We went around the lake right here. We missed it completely. Nitrogen levels, everything did as it was supposed to, so looking good there. I don't have any problems with these results so far. So next is going to be the yield map, and it's really interesting. Well, let's just go over there. So these are the yields, and we're getting a little bit more of this mixture going on, and I'm having to take a wild guess kind of on these to figure out exactly what it's at. It's almost like some of these crops are really wanting to be like right in that middle area, you know. So it's tricky to try and figure it out. So please bear with me once again on this crop. This is grass. I'm going to decipher this as best I can and educate a guess. I could be off a little bit. If I am, definitely throw it down in the comments and let me know what you're finding. We'll take another look at it. Maybe I could do it a little bit bigger areas once we get a little bit more precise. I was doing a really a lot of data here. In the smallest amount of time and space that I could. But if we see some of these inconsistencies, we can pinpoint in a little bit deeper and get into these a little bit more. So let's go ahead and start on loam. And at 125%, this is the first one that we're looking at here. I know we definitely have 200, and typically on all the other crops we have 115% also, because you can go 20 points down on your nitrogen and still get the same yield. So that's what I'm going to do here again. Even though it looks, a mixture of 115 and 125, I'm going to go ahead and call it 125. So your first two at 200 and 180 are going to be 125. Now at 115, you can see we do have the next two steps down under that, so 160 and 140 also. So that's the reason why I'm including this little strip right here in with the 125. So the next thing you're going to see is 110 here. Let's go ahead and do that. And we've only got one. And it's really interesting. Once again, you're getting a little bit of a bleed over from something going on right here. So it's really interesting as to what is going on. I'm not quite sure. So that's going to be 110%. That's your 120 right there. At 105, we got another little bit of bleed. So it's like the bleed came all the way through here. It's really awkward as to what's going on. But at 105, we're going to go ahead and knock off the next two areas, and that's going to be at 100 and 80 also. So 80 and 100. Next percentage is 100%, and that's one more step. So that's going to be 60 kilograms per hectare. At 95, that's going to be everything else. Absolutely everything else. So it's really interesting that 0, 20, and 40 are 95. And then you go all the way up to 125 at 200. So it's just so weird that you got all this bleeding going on. I mean, it even kind of happened here. I mean, that shouldn't be solid like that. That should be mixed a little bit more. So not sure exactly what's going on, but I feel confident that this data is going to be within 5, maybe 10%. I'm hoping up at the top it's only 5, but I don't know how you know the difference between 115 and 125 without looking here. So that's what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and head over to our sandy loam. So sandy loam, we know that 100% is the max that we are going to be able to get there. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. 100 is going to give us our top 2 spots. So this is going to be 200 and 180. And we know that the target nitrogen here is 180. So it's really interesting that our 160 is not included in this also. But it's not. I mean, it's really, really bright for the next one, 95. There's no bleed over that's showing it should be close to 100. So 95% is going to be 160 and 140. Next, you're going to have 2 more spots here at 90%, and that's going to be your 120 and your 100. Next is 85, and 85% is going to be only 80 kilograms per hectare. It's the only one right there. At 80, we've got 2 more spots right here, and that's going to be 60 and 40. And now at 75, that's going to be everything else. So that's your 20 kilograms per hectare and your 0, so absolutely nothing. So really interesting on this one. You've got a 25-point spread from your 75 all the way up to your 100. All right, so the next one we're going to do here is our Silty Clay. And on Silty Clay, we know that we need 200 points of nitrogen. Again, that's our target level. So if I go ahead and click off 90, nothing happens on Silty Clay. This is the only crop that you do not have the yield at 90% on Silty Clay. Everything else is. It's really odd that 85% is where we start. So 85% is going to be for 200, 180, and 160. And 80 here, you're going to get 2 more spots, and that's going to be your 140 and your 120. And at 75, you've got 2 more, and that's your 100 and your 80 kilograms per hectare. At 70, that's going to take another 2 spots, and that's going to be 60 and 40. And then at 65, that's going to be your 20 and your 0. So you're going to go from 65 to 85 here, a 20-point spread. Next, let's go to Loamy Sand. And this should give us a 80% yield with a 160-point nitrogen level target. So if we click off 80, we can see it's the top 3 rows. So that's going to give us our 200, our 180, and our 160. So once again on this, if you go under on Loamy Sand, you're not going to get that little bit of a benefit on some of the other crops that you are. So it's really odd on this one. I would figure that even at 140 you would still be at 80%, but here you're not. So at 75 you're going to get those 2 knocked off, and that's 140 and 120. At 70% you're going to have 3. That's going to be 100, 80, and 60. At 65 you're going to have your 40 and your 20. And then with the absolute lowest yield that we have seen so far on one of these tests, 60% if you put nothing in the ground. That is really, really interesting. Grass has got the worst yield if you put nothing in it so far at 60%. So I'm going to go ahead and turn all of these back on just so you guys can see the whole map one more time. And y'all, I mean, this is... I don't know if I would mess around too much with grass, honestly. I mean, you're already not getting a great yield on Silty Clay at 85%, and it just drops. It drops so fast. I mean, here you're okay on loam, but you're not getting a great... You're not getting a lot of help. I mean, it almost looks like right here it instantly wants to drop off loam right down to 115 right off the bat. You're not even getting that benefit of having that, right? And then on the other ones, you know, you're not getting a benefit of being a little bit lower. You know, we know right here at 180, you're only getting 180 and 200. You're not getting your 160 like we typically see. So I don't even know if going 20 points under on this would be really a benefit. I mean, because you're not going to have the same yield. So I personally, I'm not going to mess around with grass. I mean, I'm still going to use it, obviously, but I'm going to give it the nitrogen that it needs. I'm not going to try and shortcut it at all, unless I'm trying to make hay or something like that. But even then, I'm probably going to put it into probably sandy loam is where I'm going to put it at. Just because I know that you can make silage out of it. That's going to be it today, everybody. If you enjoyed the video or you learned something today, go and give me a thumbs up if you would. If you want to be kept up to date on all my future precision farming videos, go and hit that subscribe button. And while you're over there, go and hit the notification bell. Have a great day, everybody. Until next time, this is Driver 53, signing off.